Dan over here. We'll get you the microphone. Dan's in the center.
Hey, Alex.
So, Roach, you were following football today?
5-3 at the half. Niners lead the Cardinals. Just a thought on David Price and also what you expect from him tonight.
It's a full go. He's done it before. He's in a good place, not only mentally but physically, and we feel that he can do this. It's not a case of he's, the opener or whatever they want to call it. It's a full go. Behind the whole thing, the thought process, and we know that's a good team, and they're not going to give up. And obviously, we have to get 27 outs and be on top to win the whole thing. But I think we're covered for the rest of the season. The playoff season. And obviously, this is not being negative. It just you have to prepare. He can bounce back if it doesn't happen today, and he'll be in the bullpen in Game 6 and in Game 7 if needed. Chris will have extra days rest if he has to pitch Game 6. You guys know about him coming from injury and then his infection in the belly button. So it was tough for his belly button to bounce back and go to the bullpen in Game 6 and 7. And that's the reason behind it. It's not that we're trying to reinvent this. We're just being prepared. If it was a tie series, we were going with our starters in full rest.
So no setback still?
No setback.
Stay right there with Mark.
Alex, you use the phrase all in all the time. Where did that come from? What does it mean to you?
I don't know. Like I said, my English is very limited, so I'm talking to you guys and it came up and just been running away with it. It feels that way. Actually, today, I was on the way to a ballpark with Carlos Febles, and we were talking about playoffs and the experience and being a manager, being a bench coach, being a player, being an analyst. And it's a different feel. When you sit in here and when you sit in that desk or you stand in that dugout as a manager, you had a feeling different than probably the coaching staff. And that's a cool feel, and first of all, the players, they make it happen. Their willingness to do the things that they're doing right now. I don't know if you guys noticed, Nate, he went to the bullpen yesterday. Rick was in the bullpen yesterday. Like I said, it doesn't mean that they're going to pitch, but at least they're showing that they're willing to do whatever it takes for us to win a World Series. And when you see that, and you guys don't know the whole story, obviously, but medical department, pitching coach, the bullpen coach, Manny, the coaching staff, we gathered everything, the information, and then we make decisions. And I feel that with the group we have, why not go all in? Because we know we're going to be able to bounce back. We're going to be covered. A lot of people thought that we were short pitching-wise yesterday, and we never felt that way. It's a cool feel.
Fifth row, right center, Tyler.
Alex, can you just speak to the availability of your bullpen if anybody is absolutely not available tonight? And then specifically, with all the doubts kind of that group had around it, can you just speak to what Joe Kelly in particular has brought this postseason, if anything changed for him, or if it surprised you at all, or just how well he's pitched for you this playoffs?
Everybody's available tonight.
Even Sale?
Everybody's available, yeah. With the bullpen, we felt that we were going to be okay going into October. We had the luxury of resting guys, change their usage in September because of our lead in the division. And obviously, we felt that we were going to have the best record in baseball to have home field advantage. And we start, Brazier, we didn't abuse him in September. Barnes gets hurt, which at the end, it really benefited him. We knew that we were going to have an extra arm in every game in October. And with Joe, he was amazing the first part of the season. Then he struggled, usage, change. he started relying a lot on his fastball. He wasn't able to land his breaking ball early in the count, and he got away from his changeup, which is probably his second best pitch. He throws 100, which at the end of September, when we start talking about rosters and all that, it's hard to leave 100 out of the 25-man roster in October. He's pitching the World Series, he has experience, and he started throwing the ball well towards the end. He made some adjustments mechanically, and you see the results, and he's been amazing. He's been great, but all of them, if you think about it, we haven't had too many bad innings out of them. When you can remember at bats, and we played, it's October, whatever, and I can go to a bats that, okay, we got burned there, Boyd against Brazier, first pitch, double down the line, Marwin, Yuli, home run, that's good because it's only like 3 that I remember that we got burned throughout. They've been amazing.
How big was the strikeout yesterday at 4-4?
Every out is big. Every out is huge. It's like I said yesterday, I was kicking myself for extending Eduardo, but then that's the beauty of this game. I should have gone to Joe at that time, but then they picked me up, and then we got Joe who can go 2 innings. So that's the beauty of baseball. It's like it happened for a reason, and he was tremendous for us last night.
Second row on your right.
Alex, just was wondering, what is the likelihood that Sale would come in and pitch in relief tonight?
It has to be perfect like in New York when he came in game 4. Just, we know where we at. We know that there's, we know who we're playing, and we map this out to be covered and be, almost at 100% if the series extends. So we got to be very, very careful, the way we use them, but it has to be almost perfect. He'll be ready.
Back left, JP.
Alex, if you can think back to the beginning of the World Series, the beginning of the ALCS, the beginning of the Division Series, and the conversations that you were having with your medical people, did the ability of specific pitchers to bounce back, pitch consecutive days, allow anybody to get on the roster for each of those series?
Not really. You use the schedule to your advantage. We know that there's off days. There's going to be an off day, after the first 2 games, and there's going to be an off day after the next 2 days in the Division Series. Then in the Championship Series, it changes. It's an off day. So you take advantage of that. We're still looking at pitch usage and high level situation and stressful innings, but at the same time, it's October, and those guys, like I've been saying, they're ready to go. And there was one game that we get information from the medical staff and the analytical staff about our relievers, red, yellow, and green. And there was one game that was the only time we got the card, actually. They sent it, and I saw one of the guys, he was red and red, which means that he was very red. And I actually stay away from him at that point. And it almost cost us the game. I don't remember who he was. And the next day I told him, do not send me the card. Because it's the playoffs, and you make decisions, you gotta take care of them, obviously. But if you tell them that you're down, I can't even imagine their reaction. So we've been doing a good job with that, staying away from the card and just asking them what they want to do. And you got guys showing up here at 11 a.m. getting treatment and trying to get ready to bounce back and perform.
Stay back there, Tyler.
Alex, what do you remember about that 07 championship team that you were on? What distinguished that Red Sox group, and were there any similarities to this one?
I think offensively, very similar. You know, two guys that carry the offense, and another guy that Petey. We had David and Manny, and then Petey was amazing. You was good. You know, like surrounding those two guys, we have good at bats, and it's the same way here. We got Mookie and JD, but the at bats around them, they're great, and it's a relentless group that we're not as patient as that group, but we grind at bats and we foul pitches, and obviously we drive the ball out of the ballpark, but we can do other stuff too. We can run. You know, that year, I think Petey stole like 20. We had Coco, who had speed, and Jacoby. Uke was a good base runner. So offensively, we did a lot of good things, and then the bench, it was amazing. You know, they had the best utility guy in the big leagues in 2007. That guy was great. And
What was his name?
Jose Cora. And then you got Bobby Kilty off the bench, you know, switch hitter that could do damage. Very similar to Mitch yesterday. Mitch saw one pitch, hit out of the ballpark. Bobby saw one pitch in that World Series, hit out of the ballpark. Bullpen was great. Rotation carried the load in 07, and it's just like this one, and and both managers, they're bulbs.
Ron.
Your players have said repeatedly that they feed off your even-keeled temperament and it helps them. I mean, other than with umpires, do you yell at anyone? Do you have a show a temper?
No, I don't. I talk to them and I try to stay in tune with them. If I have something to tell them, you know, I just sit with them and very casual. I'm very casual. And, I don't know. I'm 43. We have in some aspects the same interests. You know, I try to do it that way. It feels right. It feels right. It's like I play for a lot of managers, and I learn from them, from all of them, from Davey all the way to the last one, Riggleman and Davey again. I learned, and I never had a manager that was like rah-rah, scream at guys. You know, they always had good conversations, and I learned from them, and that's what I'm trying to do.
How about a home away from the ballpark? You have a temper?
Away from the ballpark? I don't have time for that, man. Just, you know, just be a dad, change diapers, and enjoy the twins and Camila.
A few last quick ones, Barry.
Hey, Alex. A lot of has been made of the Dodgers' kind of top-down way of managing and scripting a ball game, and what the place Davey plays in it. How does it work in Boston with an old-school GM like Dombrowski? Do you get a lot of top-down, and how much autonomy does that give you when you manage a game?
We get information and we use it to our advantage. That's the way we operate.
Tyler?
What's interesting about how this lineup, you said, you know, the 07 and some other teams were more patient maybe. How were you able to use the aggressiveness of your hitters in a positive way while still sort of knowing that they could grind out at bats and do the right things that way?
Last year I lived it. You know, when your leadoff guy is 6'4", 250, and he can put the first pitcher of the game out of the ballpark, it makes the pitcher, it makes him execute from pitch one. It's not comfortable. You know, you cannot just group a fastball right down the middle, and you never know what that leadoff guy can do. He can hit out of the ballpark right away. So you have to execute, and that's why we've been telling them from the get-go. And sometimes we fall into the bad takes. You know, bad takes last year is just a predetermined take. You know, fastball right down the middle and just take it, and you're down 0-1. And we're trying to avoid those. And like I said, sometimes they still do it. We will get better. But I do feel that from the get-go, you know, last year with George, this year with Mookie, they're threats, you know, and then from the first pitch, you have to execute, and that's why, you know, we preach aggressiveness, but it has to be in the strike zone, you know. Stay away from the edges of the strike zone, which they've been doing an outstanding job pitching to that. They've been great, actually. But if you do that, your chances of, you know, getting on base and do damage, they're a lot better, and that's what we want from them. If it's not there, just take it. Just take it.
Finish up back and right.
Alex, obviously you're rather familiar with this place, and there's so much history kind of crawling through the tunnels, the walls here. I'm wondering if there's a piece of memorabilia or a trophy or something that really wowed you the first time you saw it.
Not just the stadium itself, you know. You come here and you walk around, and there's 55,000 people, and that uniform is unique. You know, it's beautiful actually. And then you put it on and you feel it. What they do as an organization too, I know they're in Arizona now, but you go to Vero Beach, you know, Dodger Town, that was awesome. You know, just staying there and see all the legends walking around and trying to help you out, and it's the Dodger way too. They teach you not only to be a good baseball player, but a pro off the field, how to dress, how to talk to the media. The way they did it, the way they did it with us, you know, when I signed '96, it was tremendous. And then you got Darby and Say and Russell and Jaime and Mr. Scully just walking around, and you're like, wow, this is great, you know. And they do an outstanding job as an organization keeping those guys involved, which is great. We do the same thing. Obviously, the Yankees do it too. There's a lot of organizations that there's a lot of history, and then they keep their guys involved, which I think is a plus for everybody.
Alex, thanks a lot.
Thank you.